Hello, I'm Jim Green, and I work with the Jesus Film Project. I came with Campus Crusade in 1962, and I can't believe 45 years ago. I was a student at Wheaton College and really struggling in my faith and didn't understand how to walk with God in the power of the Holy Spirit and dedicate and rededicate and over-dedicate my life to Christ, and it would last for a week or so, and then I would be frustrated again. And my friend said, "What's the matter with us? We claim to be Christians, but really our lives are no different than someone who doesn't claim to be a believer." And I said, "You're right." So actually we got down on our knees and we prayed and we said, "God, we're tired of playing games." And my cookware salesman boss called me on the phone. He said, "Jim, Bill Bright, who founded Campus Crusade for Christ, is going to be on campus this week, and I'd like you to talk to him." Well, man, I had two reactions. One was stark terror and the other was intrigue. We met together, and I'll never forget, he was backed up on his appointments. He just met with the president of our class, and so he was late, and he said, "Well, come with me. I've got to go outside of town here to meet the president of one of the mission agencies." So I said, okay, and as we were riding, he said, "You know, I've been thinking about this passage in the Bible in 2 Timothy 1:7, which says, 'God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind.'" And I told him that I was thinking and praying about what God wanted me to do and some of the alternatives, and he said, "You know, the greatest qualification to come on our staff is a feeling of inadequacy." I said, "Man, I'm overqualified." But then he said, "Why don't you just take a piece of paper and put down everything for coming on our staff and everything against, and see what God says to you." So I did that. In about 15 minutes time, I had this great sense that for me, the most positive direction I could head for was to come on the staff of Campus Crusade. Now you got to remember, at that point in my life, I'd never led anybody to Christ. I was just weak in my faith, still struggling with assurance. I had this overwhelming faith that God could not use me. And this was just a whole new awakening in my life to realize that maybe God could use me as I walked in the power of the Holy Spirit. Interestingly enough, this was so dramatic in my life and was so helpful. As I went out to Arrowhead Springs a year or so later, Bill came to me and he said, "You know, I want to write up that principle that I share with you in a letter so it can be helpful to other people." And he wrote it out, asked me to read it over, and I worked with him on the letter, and as a result he named it the Paul Brown letter. Obviously he didn't want to call it the Jim Green letter, but I've been thrilled over the years to see how God has used this letter to help many people discern and understand God's will for their lives.